to be kind and gentle towards others?
Kindness and gentleness are often misunderstood as weakness or softness by people, you know, and it's strange because if you have the capability for violence, but you still
Mm.
choose to be gentle, now that's a strength. How can that be a weakness, right? And
Yeah.
why I am like this, the only possible explanation is to an incident that happened in my childhood. I was about, and I was given the duty to take care of my grandmother, and that's the only grandparent I ever had, and I loved her as a kid. But when I was
Mm.
15, 16, she was diagnosed with a mental illness called meningitis. So what
Mm.
happens is they'll be absolutely normal 1 hour. The next hour
Mm.
they'll be absolutely violent. You know, they'll physically throw things. They'll do all sorts of stuff. And she was living separately, so she was brought to our place, and it was my duty. She shared the room with me to take care of her. And now this is a woman who, single-handedly brought up 3 children because I said my grandfather had died earlier, much earlier.
Mm.
And she was a strong woman because, in those days on the idli, they used to make idli with on the kallu and all that. So
Mm. Mm.
she had strong shoulders. So there was no way of physically overpowering her, you know.
Mm.
And there would be time where she would be very violent. She would suddenly go to my neighbor's house, sit there, and tell those
Mm.
people, "Get out of my house." you know, the
Oh.
neighbors would come rushing to me and say, "Your grandmom's come, do something."
Mm.
And
Mm.
initially, when this happened to me, I used to look at why me, why I have to take care of all this,
Mm.
why my
Mm.
grandmama, who I had loved so much, became like this, why me, why me, why me. So I
Mm.
became the victim. I started seeing myself as a victim. This is
Mm.
the only grandmom I had,
Mm.
and these are probably few years with her. Let me make this the
Mm.
best few years. Let me see what best
Mm.
I can do of the situation. So my thought process became like that. And she was on medicine, so it reacts differently when you're on medicines.
Yeah.
Those kind, you're normal. Sometimes you're not. Nobody in the
Mm.
house could handle her. And then
Mm.
I really tried to handle her purely with gentleness and kindness. And
Mm.
Raji won't believe me. After a couple of weeks, it started working. I was the only one she started opening up to talk to laugh with. And I had such an amazing relationship with my grandmom purely because whatever she did, whatever violence she showed, I just hugged her. I just gave her love. I just gave her kindness. And
Mm.
it made an amazing, amazing impact on her. And of
Wow.
course, she was with us for 3 years and then she passed away. But I will
Mm.
always remember that the last 3 years of her life, I gave her
Mm.
the best that I could. And that gives me
Mm.
pleasure. It gives me a lot of happiness today. And it
Mm.
kind of made me a practical psychologist. Me as a person, Raji, honestly, I'm telling you. Also, when I
Mm.
see somebody who's irritated or who's
Mm.
whatever,
Mm.
always a thought
Mm.
occurs to me that he's probably fighting some battle that nobody has any idea about. So,
Right.
rather than judging him, I try to understand him.
Mm.
In this
Lovely.
world, it's the opposite way. People judge others first, then try to
Mm.
understand them. That's
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
reason so much unnecessary violence comes. But if you just try to give a little love and
Mm.
kindness, problems are
Mm.
solved like this.